Happy New Year! January 1st, 2019, as far as a linear timeline goes. I, for many years, have not really celebrated collective holiday points. It's just hasn't aligned for me for many years, so I was in bed very early yesterday and I just happened to wake up. Well, not just happened to wake up. There were some fireworks going off outside my window and I heard them and thus awakened and sent a few text messages to people in different parts of the world who, in fairness, they either already had their New Year's celebrations or they had like another 6 hours to go and stuff like that. So I just sent out the kind of few little Happy New Year messages to people, and then I went back to sleep shortly after midnight and I was like, oh hey, it's now January 1st. That essentially means nothing in as far as the timelessness of eternity and the flame of truth and infinite intelligence and all of this stuff that we talk about on this channel and some others that resonate with it, as far as time is non-existent, space and presence here now is all there is, and we are the divine creator reflected back to us. Light is one with the dark, dark is one with the light. We're undergoing a quantum leap in our evolutionary cycle as a species and a human story on this planet. And I like to share these intuitive collective updates. It's part of this new paradigm way of working with self in relation to other, which breaks free from any hierarchy of knowing. It simply is an understanding of reflecting back. Intuitive awareness, which is beyond the physical manifestation plane that most of us are still looking at. We've been doing this energy work most of our lives. Certainly the empaths and the reclusive types, or the more solitary types that I resonate with here on this channel. The inner work has been being done for decades, and now we are recognizing a tidal turn in the collective mind that is beginning to recognize some of this innate inner intuitive knowing, which some of us on the path have kind of been in cycles of trying to repress it, suppress it, deny that inner knowing. And this is what is undeniable anymore. The empathic awareness is ultimately what's rising in the collective field. And those of us in the integrity of our knowing, we don't need to play sides anymore. It's really quite liberating. I'm able to say things and do things that I never imagined possible, and yet the knowing, inner knowing awareness is so knowable, or visceral, tangible, kind of locked in and anchored in, that, you know, one can't go back to the other, which is a slight power play in denial of the power that we are as the one creator of our own existence. And so increasingly so, it's very important to align ourselves with other kindred souls and or organically guided sharing and interactions. Happy New Year, Jake Daniel! So it's all intuitive. It's all guided from a more divine surrender connection than a physical control manipulation. So the flip is now truly manifesting in our reality, and everything that we're asking of ourselves to release and let go of is like final residues, final shape-shifting into that knowing presence, so that we can continue to evolve and be the light that we are choosing here now to be. It's only ever in our presence now moment, Hence the the paradox of happy 2019, everybody. It's even the construct of our Gregorian timeline in any kind of linear sense is dissolving, because it doesn't essentially mean anything, because you're the only one creating the reality that you're experiencing. And hence, so I'm now aware of this next phase is letting go. So the Fearless Life Guide, which I was guided to write in Bali over 2 years ago now, that's like a bridging process. So there's a cyclical healing of karmic backlog and generational ancestral coding and density. Now there's an awareness within self that even that as a process does disentangle and drop away, so that more increasingly what happens is that we do in essence become triggerless, because we're no longer victim to our own reactivity and our own reactive patterns, mainly because we've sat with ourselves and we've owned enough and we've transformed enough and we've risen ourselves up to the point that our old paradigm structures, our old they fall away. It's just that simple. They're not vibrating at all in our geometric outputting, and so we're not attracting those bass tones or those distorted frequencies that again cause us pain or uncomfortable or malaligned with the truth of our knowing. Hence our ability here now to fully continue to step into the inner knowing that we are, and not play games and not do the dance of that old paradigm, which again is a bass tone, disempowered perspective, putting power outside of us in any regard. Any complaint, any feeling like a victim in any sense is actually our soul's call to own and transform that layer of disparity, whether it's poverty, war cycles in the form of violence, blame and attack, anything that divides in so to conquer or power over, manipulate the being on the truth that you are. And so the light frequency is really growing here on the planet. Maybe 3 days ago or longer, I'm not sure, certainly within the last week, I had a huge wave, and it was super powerful in this moment of recognition of like, oh my God, can you feel it? Can you feel it? It's like there's like this critical mass. There's like this like next level of awareness, of awakening of our human collective one awakening mind of like mastery, and without ego, obviously. No gurudom in its mastery. It's much more in integrity and alignment with the birthing creation of a new field of energy for more humans to access this more divine, more beautiful, and consciously aware. I had a rough but awakening year last year. Same. It's almost like par for a course, isn't it? We can recognize this in our greatest. 2019 is super epic already, for sure. I'm aligned with that, and hence the polarity of contrast that we've reviewed and bottomed out and looked at some of our deepest, darkest love and worth and all of that. That's all been coming up to the surface, and so now we can continue to permission one another the truth of our knowing, and to move into that creative field. So yeah, a lot more high resonance, high vibration frequencies which are in alignment with the truth of our knowing, versus in opposition or conflicting up against that kind of level of resistance, which is always based in fear in some way. I'm seeing a lot of fences for some reason, like people going back and forth, and yet as we continue to break free even from processes, that we can be better guiding lights. And I'm witnessing that in my own reality, and in the way my exchanges with people feel, and in the way I'm attracting amazing people that are working with. I'm like, never before have these exchanges felt so dynamic and in beautiful synchronistic alignment, and yet any aspect in my old reality that's not aligned with the human I am vibrating here and now, I don't I don't even have to walk away, they're just falling away. And so the instantaneousness with which we manifest our presence here now is becoming more aligned and more focused. And that's a really exciting thing. Hence that insight from within this last week of like, whew, can you feel that? It's like that subtlety of mastery has like has focused, has become a lot more aware, you could say, like a next level awareness of the creatorship that we are en masse. So that wave of unfoldment is just perpetually blossoming itself, and then the sensitives are feeling that ramp up and that support and that level of integrity more and more and more to merge an intentional vision into a formless void. This is the aspect of creatorship which we've not yet been able to hone and allow in our sovereignty as beings because of the creative process that's it's almost like it had to go really out into that darkness to reclaim itself via the fractalized aspect of a soul's evolution, via this planetary realm with all the varying forces and divisive tactical power plays, you could say. And yet all of it has been part of our like our rising as divine souls, is that there has to be a polarity to our divinity, and that's what we're continually bombarding into that holographic matrix, that dark web. That dark web is what we're essentially holding the light frequency and bombarding, owning it as our own, and bombarding it with this divine solar energy, that divine father energy of the sun here in the catalyst alchemical transformer, you could say, is the beings that we are, and then embedding it at the earth plane and our own vortexual reality with these higher frequencies of light, more divine, more sacred. We do know it in our innate knowingness. It's just many of those veils and karmic densities have to be burned through, in using Sasha's language, and the truth, the flame of truth, which is a unique aspect of our own soul's awareness and our own soul's growth. The pictures and the senses and all of that is a unique experience within each soul, and yet the more we share of that frequency, the more we share of that higher call of a divinity, of a knowingness, of an allowing, because the truth of our knowing allows all the polarity to be there with a detached sense of outcome, because it's choosing to polarize and split ourselves off into the dark as low-level, corrupted, and parasitic beings, and or it's a choice to up-level ourselves, and your reality is your full spectrum to feedback off of always. So we're always choosing. Someone I met this year had a wonderful expression somewhere on social of "we are our choices," and that is true. There is truth, and yet uncovering the base tone unconscious choices is what all of this energy work is about. Is that everything, even the shitty shit, own it as your own. Your owning it is ultimately what allows you to rise up from within it. It's an integration process rather than a perpetual pattern that where you're continuing to fractalize yourself, i.e. put power outside of yourself rather than integrate it. And of course, in our cookie cutter world, everybody wants to own the good shit and deny the bad shit. So it's us, instead of remaining ourselves in denial, which is an aspect of this perpetual war cycle, we keep owning it, keep owning it, keep owning it. I am that war, I am that evil, I am that that horror. In essence, if it's still affecting my frequency, if it's still coming into my field, I have to own it. No, most of us, a lot of humans are not that polarized, so it's not like you need to own. You know, it's just that if stuff's in your awareness, i.e. one way to shed a bunch of shit is to stop here, now, today, stop watching the news, cut out the Facebook, stop feeding the fear program of a banking system, of a corrupted political system, of a a mainstream media which bombards us perpetually into a state of idolatry, which into a state of externalizing our own star power, our own ability to manifest and be the desired state which we're desiring to see out there. It is our own frequency and vibrations in alignment with the soul purpose why we're here. And that's the true teaching and the joy and the share that we really truly want to be giving out to one another, not the entanglements, not the fear, and not the lording over one another, not via any kind of distorted power play. And it requires some discipline, some processes for the most part, and yet I am very encouraging of people to drop a process altogether if it's not in alignment with the truth of your soul. And your soul does know freedom, joy, ecstasy, love, gooey love, beautiful love. A lot of us in this sort of 80s babies bracket, we can bridge both worlds. Some of the younger generation, they have less karmic density in my awareness. That might not be true for all, but in my awareness as a kind of bridge portal for beings, it's like there's beings with less karmic density because of the work their parents have been doing, and yet the process can be held within those more systematized. Within that system, usually we want a process to work something out. As soon as your beingness is integrated to process, you don't need the process anymore. Something, for example, like meditation. Most of us, if we're in frenetic patterns, if we're in stressful, worrisome patterns, all corrupted, meditation, ding, sitting down in silence is the best way, the antidote to that fractaled state. And then it might require 5 years, 10 years, whatever it might be, to, I'm subbed for your spiritual journey, currently feeling super positive, the flame of truth. Thanks, Jake Daniel. Appreciate your presence here. The ghost of belief in fear me. Yeah, you have the power. Every being has the power. Otherwise, we wouldn't be kind of like connected in this level of existence. We wouldn't be here to reflect back this sort of inner knowing, right? Hence the internet is very much like a bridge. And also one thing I want to share in this share today is the dropping process of even angels and demons. We rise above the duality of polarity. We rise above giving any power to anything higher or lower. So even the idea of angels being outside of ourselves, so these ideas of like archangels and these things, now recognize if you're projecting something outside of yourself, there's still a disempowered aspect. Own yourself as the archangel. Own yourself as the demon entity. It's all just a polarity of your own self-awareness. Then the processes, we can drop them. Meditation. So the reason we meditate is to find that silence, to find that void, that divinity, that connection, and then start to yoke that dominantly. But sometimes we need a formal discipline, a formal practice of meditation to anchor us into the here now presence, and then to have the field of awareness to burn through a lot of those karmic densities or energetic densities, whatever I call them densities in the book to make it as simple and kind of clear cut and non-judgmental or any of that. It's density and a density is just what it sounds like. Contracted state. Fear. Anything that triggers that. And then the karmic backlog means that I can get triggered, be present with the trigger, and it ain't gonna end there. Energetically speaking, my beingness, the cells of my body have some waves and some karma to move through me. Energy karma. And then in those emotional storms, through the kind of higher mind gateway, we can actually see our ancestry, see our past life karma, see what we created via a constellation of humans in past patternings, and or whether it's future or past, it really doesn't matter. If it's out there, we need to integrate it to the here now, which is what emotional waves and storms in the light of your awareness through a meditative state allows you to stay in the flame of your truth, stay in the flame of your presence knowing, and allow that the energy to move through you. It usually comes out in rage, heat, tears, and then sometimes just cosmic kind of waves of benevolent presence, which is like a peaceful, it's when you get to that almost state of kind of like shock almost, or just like peaceful presence, where you might have still waves of tears coming through you. There might be stuff, a whole bunch of stuff going on around you, but you're totally surrendered to it all. And then in my, again, in the teachings, in the book, it's like, that's, once you've survived a storm, you've had a vibrational shift and the shift in perspective. And then in a cyclical way, i.e. a process, because we seem to like processes, the process, we uncover more of the truth of our signature, which is just more joyful and more free, because the truth of our eternity in infinite intelligence as beings is that we are actually sovereign beings. We are actually free. We don't need all this corrupted system bullshit. We can just be total creators. However, it would appear to me that we also have this sort of evolutionary process to allow ourselves to be more responsible. It may be that we have created polarity in the dark in other existences, and so for us to rise up into this more harmonious, divine, and beautiful feel-good state is just par for the course in an evolutionary sense. We wouldn't explain evolution as, oh, beings become more corrupted and more shitty, and they destroy each other more, and they perpetuate more and more war. Yeah, that's evolution. Well, clearly evolution in as far as how we feel it from within is an expanded sense. It's a more powerful, but in a harmonious sense. So rather than having the system of destruction and combustion on the planet, i.e. exemplifying itself in just trash and poverty and war after war cycle, we elevate that in saying that there doesn't need to be this destruction death cycle within a cycle. The cycle can actually just be an ever unfolding, like a plant, the seeding can just keep happening on a higher and higher level, and we are the blossom. We are the flourishing of that higher level seed and plant. And then we've again worked through enough inside our own vessel. We've worked through enough of those layers of distortion that are potential limiting for our ability to create in a higher harmonic on the planet. That's it. I think that's it for me today, you guys. Have a lovely, lovely day, and Happy New Year, Pepe. I just saw you there, friend. Jake Daniel. That name rings a bell to me. I'm not sure if we're already connected on YouTube or maybe connected somewhere else. Like Facebook or Instagram. I've not been on Facebook loads. I had to come off of it. I feel really enjoying being off of Facebook, to be honest. Either way, I love your avatar, like the hey, because we're all a little bit like that guy. So yeah, have a happy New Year. Happy. Humor is the recipe, my friend, straight up, right? Otherwise, what would be the point of any of this? And that's actually been so much part of my journey, is like meeting spiritual gurus and meeting different people, and then spirituality is very serious. I'm like, boring. Let's go radical right to the edge and enjoy the ride. And if you're not enjoying the ride, dare I say, it's not the right ride for you. Get on a caboose that's gonna make you laugh and cry and live the fullness of your abilities existence, rather than some like zero-dimensional, I don't know. Anyway, I ramble on because that's the end of this share, I believe. Thank you guys so much for joining me on New Year's Day, and I love you loads. Where BA in the US are you? Jake, I am in the UK. I live in a quiet mountain town. No, I don't. I live sorry, beer. Happy New Year! I live in the UK on the southwest coast, and I fairly regular-ish travel to London because I have friends and like some amazing clients that I see in London as well. Mostly I work online though, so mostly I like take sessions with people and talk through stuff, whatever comes through That's the beauty of intuition. Like, I don't have to do anything. Just show up with intuition, channel the love vibrashe. The love peaceful vibrashe. So yeah, I work with clients online and Scarborough and North Yorkshire. Awesome. Oh man, amazing. So you're in the UK too. How funny. Because I sound US, right? But in Missouri. Oh. Okay, so you're a UK person who's currently in Missouri. I'm trying to think, that's like, where is that? On holiday. Very nice. Missouri. I don't even know. I really don't know my... who was I having? I think I was getting my hair done, having a proper laugh about how my geography is void. Near Arkansas. Okay, cool. Still would need to look at a map, but do you have family out there? How come you're there? Just for holidays. Sounds blissful, actually. I'm sensing some... Sweet. Jake Daniel from Cornwall. See? Okay, Cornwall, Southwest. We must be connected on Facebook or via people. Nice one. Who works... Okay, so your friend from Cornwall is working in the States, and you took that as an opportunity to go visit. I have done that before with a few friends when they travel. I get that. Very nice. It's a good opportunity to see more of the world and not have to travel by yourself. Huh. That's one of my New Year's, like, new beginnings, is that I don't travel by myself anymore, and certain threads with regards to love and money has completely transformed now. So I'm, again, like, what a year 2018 has been. Like, love you, bye. And then off we go, 2019, with a hell of a lot more awareness of how all this manifestation shit works. And then not putting up with shit either. Like, I think that's another thing, is, like, traversing this weird phase and territory. Yeah, 2018. Thanks for the memories! Adios! Like, I salute you. Thank you. And then, yeah, moving into this more integrity place, and also not taking no shit from nobody. It's like, wow, I have just spent a lot of my life making excuses for people and playing these weird, fucked up games. Mainly, again, it's no fault finding or blame seeking. It's just the truth of, like, when you own and keep owning and keep owning and keep owning. And then the last aspect of owning is then not owning other people's shit for them. Like, when you can't do that and you're like, oh God, that's a huge piece, because there's such a depth in us that thinks that so-and-so is going to come and save us, or that person's going to want to help us out. And then we get to this next level within our own self and realize people often, it's part of that systematized program. Hi, Addis Hill! It's part of that systematized program that people are wanting, their bottom feeder energy. It's like they just want to keep suckling rather than actually own and integrate their own distortions, right? Or their own densities. So, freedom! Freedom! For the light workers and the empaths and the people who get what I'm talking about. And if you don't get what I'm talking about, I love you no matter what. So it's all good in the head. Hell yeah. Seriously, delirium and just pure love, heart vibration on this New Year's Day, you guys. Heart, love, vibration. And then, like, virtual hug. Alright, because you can't see, but my arms are going hugs. You guys, hugs. So have an awesome day. I'm so glad. Have you been here before, Jake Daniel? I'm not sure. Guys, I got my hair cut as well. I don't know if you can tell, but it's actually, like, shorter than it's ever been. And so I'm looking forward to having it grow. But it's healthier, because I dyed it. You've been lurking. Hey, hit subscribe, mofo. I mean, I'm trying to reuse some of that nasty language. So a friend said, stop using mofo. It's, like, rude. I'm like, motherfucker is rude. So molo, they're saying, oh, you have. Oh, thank you. Okay, cool. Molo, like mother lover. So I have to flip mofo to molo. Anyway, language is the next, like, thing to refine, which is going to be a great challenge because I just spew so much. And most of it I would say is this divine channel, but I'm more aware now of my reactivity. And at the same time, it's my YouTube channel, so I can do what I want. Including deleting stuff when I no longer res, even though sometimes I'm like, maybe it would be useful, but then I'm like, is that just my fucking ego thinking I'm like important at all? But some people could use the wisdom. People have their own wisdom. I believe in you because I believe in this, right? So right on. Love you guys. Have an awesome New Year's Day. I hope it's like super benevolent and joyful and awesome for you. Yeah, mega love, heart, vibrashe, virtual hugs all over the nation and all over the space because this is infinity, my Molo friends. Have an awesome day, you guys, and I'll see you real soon. Take care. Peace out.